you go into this expecting lighter slasher, no horror, to laugh a little bit with your friends for some adult humor, I think this is an ideal experience for you, and I think you're going to enjoy it. A brilliant toy company roboticist uses artificial intelligence to develop M3GAN, a lifelike doll programmed to emotionally bond with her newly orphaned niece. But when the doll's programming works too well, she becomes overly protective of her new friend with terrifying results. That's a synopsis from Letterboxd, and honestly, that's pretty on the nose. Basically, picture Chucky meets the future. That's what this movie is, but it's a lot funnier and a lot less gory. So summing up my experience with M3GAN, if you're going into this movie expecting a gore horror fest, I think you're going to be disappointed. However, if you go in just looking for some fun and low-key looking for some laughs with friends, I think this is perfect for you. It's succinct, it's a lot of fun, and I can see why it's rated PG-13. I'll touch upon that in just a minute. So for me, the most surprising and actually the strongest aspect of M3GAN is the comedy. I expected this movie to be a little bit more dark and actually to be more of a horror film based on the marketing. So if you're in that camp like myself, I don't blame you at all. But this movie kind of betrays that in favor of being a lot more of a fun and funny comedic experience that you're actually going to laugh quite a few times at. There's some more adult humor in here that I think if you're part of, I'd say, a crowd that's 18 and older, you're really going to enjoy. There's some slight pop culture references that are really funny that might get a little outdated after a while. But just some of the lines that come from M3GAN are just absolutely hilarious, and myself and several members of the audience were just kind of howling at. Like, to hear these very grotesque, very adult lines coming from this little doll that's supposed to mimic a 10-year-old is just really off-putting. That juxtaposition is really jarring, really off-putting, and I think that's what makes it really funny. And the best part is these moments are really well timed and not oversaturated in the movie to the point where it ever gets old. Like, each time the movie tries to get you to laugh and it lands, it feels like the perfect time to do it. It lands really well, and it never feels really too try-hardish or overstuffed, which is great. And additionally, I thought that this movie did something really interesting, which is have somewhat of a commentary on artificial intelligence. I think one of the main questions that this movie asks is, where does artificial intelligence being introduced into humanity go too far? Can it really make the world a better place, or are we going to end up with homicidal dolls like M3GAN? And although I don't think audiences are going to remember the movie for having that commentary, it's still something that I took away from the movie nonetheless, and I appreciated it more for it. Is it something that many other movies like Ex Machina have touched upon many times before? Absolutely. Is it still a valid conversation? I'd say so. Without giving away spoilers, at a point in this movie, the question is kind of begged by some of our characters, where does this line get crossed where M3GAN is becoming a parent and the parents are getting replaced? Is this a replacement, or is this an enhancement? And that's just that. I thought that was really thought-provoking. Now let me touch upon the violence in M3GAN. It's quite something. Since this movie is PG-13, there is violence, but they can only take it so far. Are you going to see blood squibs? Are you going to see blood splatter? Are you going to see some really violent kills? Absolutely. Some of them get pretty creative at times, but there's not quite as many as the trailer would lead you to believe. Like, if I'm being honest, I say that this is a lightweight slasher comedy because there's probably only 4 kills in this entire movie and maybe like 6 or 7 attempted kills. So if you're in this looking for a gore fest, a slasher fest, blood and guts everywhere, I think you're going to be disappointed by this movie. But if you're okay with the lighter side of slashers and the combination of comedy within that, I think this movie is going to be ideal for you. But if you're looking for a horror gore fest, this movie isn't exactly that. And honestly, this movie really isn't even scary at all. Like, I know the marketing and the trailers would have you believe that this is a full-blown slasher horror, but it's really not. I mean, there was never a point where I really felt any peril. The only thing remotely scary was a few jump scares, which kind of got annoying, but again, they don't do it too much in the movie to the point where it ruins the experience at all. In fact, going a little bit further with the kills and the violent side of things, this movie's pacing was, I thought, a little strange. The runtime is only an hour 45 minutes. It never really feels slow at all. In fact, it moves along quite nicely, but it's a little off-putting because things don't really start to happen. Like, the kills don't start coming along till you're about halfway through the movie. Like, there was a point where I kind of thought to myself, okay, where do we actually get to M3GAN the doll? When does things start to go awry? They really kind of lead you into a slow burn with that. They don't take that too far to the point where you're getting bored and it feels like too long, but it gets pretty darn close to it. I mean, when you're halfway through the movie and things are still kind of getting into introductions, you're still kind of building tension a little bit, it does start to feel a little bit exasperating and a long time coming by the time you get to action and things starting to unfold. So friends, in the end, I'm gonna have to give M3GAN a 7 out of 10. I thought this was a pretty good time, and if you bring friends, you're gonna laugh quite a bit if you enjoy lightweight slasher comedies. If you go into this expecting lighter slasher, no horror, to laugh a little bit with your friends for some adult humor. I think this is an ideal experience for you, and I think you're going to enjoy it. Friends, thank you so much for watching another movie review. If you like this or thought it's helpful, I'd be honored if you consider clicking the like button and clicking these end cards up above, or the links down in the description below for your viewing pleasure. Or heck, if you're bored, follow me on TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, and everywhere else. I've been Bryson. Until next time, have a great day.